I thought I had it all figured out. Everyone has baggage, right? It's what makes us human. I'd never been the type to judge someone for things they'd done in the past. We all make mistakes. We all hurt people. I believed that. I told myself that over and over, especially when I met Alex. When we first started dating, he was everything I wanted. He was kind, funny, and made me feel like I was the most important person in the room. He'd look at me with this warmth in his eyes, like he was seeing something special in me that no one else had. I couldn't help but fall for him. But there was always something about Alex that seemed guarded. I noticed it from the beginning, but I brushed it off. After all, who doesn't have a few walls up after the things we go through? I never asked about his past. He never volunteered much information, and I didn't press him. We were happy, and I believed that was all that mattered. But eventually, the inevitable happened. He started to open up slowly, piece by piece. It wasn't until that night, the night that changed everything, that I finally learned what had been haunting him. We were sitting on the couch after dinner, sipping wine. It had been a good night, one of those perfect evenings where everything felt easy. The laughter, the conversations, the connection. Then, out of nowhere, Alex turned to me, his face serious, eyes a little distant. It was like a switch flipped, and for the first time, I saw the man behind the walls. "I need to tell you something," he said, his voice low, almost hesitant. My heart skipped a beat. I braced myself, expecting him to tell me about some trivial mistake or past fling, something that didn't really matter anymore. I thought I was prepared, but I wasn't. He went on to tell me about his past, about the things he'd done, the people he'd hurt. He'd been in toxic relationships, made choices he regretted, and hurt people who had trusted him. The mistakes he'd made weren't just a few bad decisions, they were patterns. He described things I couldn't even imagine, things that made me shudder to think about. My mind was racing, but I didn't interrupt. I didn't want to judge him, especially not after everything he had just shared with me. I tried to keep my expression neutral, but I could feel my heart sinking. As much as I wanted to be understanding, to be the perfect girlfriend who accepted him, it was hard. His past was ugly, messy. It wasn't something you could just forget. When he finished talking, there was a long silence between us. I felt like I should say something, reassure him that it didn't matter. After all, I had always told myself I wouldn't care about someone's past, that it didn't define who they were now. I opened my mouth to speak, but the words didn't come out right. Instead, I told him, "I don't care about your past. All that matters is who you are now. I love you for who you are today." I meant it, or at least I thought I did. But deep down, something shifted. I wasn't sure if I could really let go of what he'd said. Could I truly accept all that? Could I be with someone who had hurt people like that? I convinced myself that it didn't matter, that I could forgive him because I loved him. But when I looked at him, waiting for his response, I saw something in his eyes that I hadn't expected: doubt. He stood up slowly, and for the first time, I saw him as a man I didn't fully understand. "I don't know if I can do this," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know if I can keep going, pretending I'm someone I'm not." I felt my chest tighten, the words cutting through me like a blade. "What are you talking about?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I told you, I don't care. We can move past this together." But his expression didn't change. He just shook his head slowly, his eyes avoiding mine. "No, you don't get it. You say you don't care, but I can see it in your eyes. You're judging me. And I can't stay with someone who doesn't trust me fully. I've already hurt too many people. I can't do it again." And then without another word, he walked out of the room. My heart raced as I watched him leave. Not a glance back, just the sound of the door clicking shut behind him. I stood there frozen, trying to process what had just happened. I thought I had understood, thought I had accepted his past, but maybe I hadn't. Maybe I couldn't. The next few days were a blur. I tried calling, texting, but he didn't respond. He completely shut me out. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room, like everything we had built was suddenly gone. I never thought I'd be the one who pushed him away. I always said I wouldn't care about someone's past. But in the end, it was my inability to fully accept him for who he was that drove him away. It wasn't until later, When I finally accepted that he had walked away for good, that I realized how deeply I had underestimated the weight of his past. And maybe, just maybe, I had lied to myself all along. I wasn't ready to forgive him, no matter how much I wanted to believe I could. And now I had lost him, not because of his mistakes, but because I wasn't strong enough to love him through them.